pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money wrapped up in a 5-pound note. The owl looked up to the stars. Oh dear, my rhymes are right out of whack. I call myself a poet, but wouldn't you know it, this doesn't work. Thus I must try a new tack. The duck and the elephant went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some money and plenty of honey, and life jackets to stay afloat. The duck looked up to the clouds above. Oh, what a beautiful day, he quacked. Oh elephant, my true love so dear. Thank goodness that you have my back, my back. Thank goodness that you have my back, said elephant to duck. You bring such good luck. You're charming, you're sweet, and you're mine. We should get wed like our parents said. I think a lovely white dress would be fine. They sailed away for a year and a day, and though it started off rather well, as the days flew by, the elephant sank into illness caused from the swell, seasickness that was caused by the swell. Duck, well, your friend is the sea, it isn't to me. Oh, Ellie, you will be all right. So on they did sail, well, poor Ellie grew pale, until one day they had a big fight. The seas are rough and I've had enough. I need to stand and walk upon land. Impossible, said he. Why, we're way out at sea. If you want to stretch, why don't you stand, If you want to stretch, why don't you stand? For Ellie left her seat, stood on her wobbly feet. Then an almighty wave hit the boat. Over went Ellie with a loud slap on her belly, with just a life jacket to keep her afloat. Loudly she cried as the waves hit her side, and swept her out of dear Ducky's sight. The waves were rough, but our Ellie was tough. Before long there was land in sight, Before long there was land in sight. As Ellie crawled to the shore, her spirits did soar. There was land beneath her feet. Well, there was no sign of Duck. She wasn't stuck. She went looking for something to eat. She had sailed away over a year and a day. Now Ellie saw where the bong tree grows, and there in a wood a piggy wig stood, with a ring at the end of his nose, with a ring at the end of his nose. Such a handsome boy, Ellie's jaw hit the floor. She couldn't believe her luck. Her heart started to race as she stared at his face, and she forgot all about her duck. He got down on one knee and said, Do marry me, lovely Ellie, I think you're just fine. I have just the thing here, do take my ring. You're charming, you're sweet, please be mine, be mine. You're charming, you're sweet, please be mine. The crowd gathered round the green grassy ground to watch Ellie and Piggy get wed, and there they'd see beneath the bong tree the vows of their marriage get said. It became very clear that Edward Lear had an address that he wanted to make. In the midst of the crowd he gracefully bowed and said, This is lovely, but where is the cake? The cake? This is lovely, but where is the cake? So absorbed in their lot, they clean forgot there was no one who knew how to bake. The crowd wanted to eat a treat that was sweet. What was a wedding without a cake? An amazing luck who arrived with the duck, and who knew he was a wonderful cook. He hurried away on this important day with his precious recipe book, with his precious recipe book. Though his love was spurned, Ducky returned with a cake that looked very grand. And walking with Duck was a hen called Pluck, carrying a silver wedding band. Piggy dragged the priest away from the feast. You must marry Ducky and Pluck today. Oh, Pluck, say I do, our love is so true. We're birds of a feather, they say. We're birds of a feather, they say. So Ellie and Duck, Piggy and Pluck all fell in love on that day. and in front of the crowd the couples bowed, and waiters came out with trays. They dined on mince and slices of quince, which they ate with great gusto and flair. And hand in front of the band, the couples really let down their hair. The couples really let down their hair. So Ellie and Duck, Piggy and Pluck, all fell in love on that day. I'm pleased with this poem. It really does show them in the nicest possible way. When we got to the end, they all remain friends, which can be very difficult to do. And it's really grand. There are enough wedding bands. They could celebrate their love, so true, so true. They could celebrate their love, so true.